an ambush.
Oh my God, it's an ambush!
It's an ambush!
Of course!
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to an ambush stream. Yes, an ambush stream. These happen from time to time when something particular comes up that catches my attention that I feel needs attention, because attention. I hope you're all doing well on this beautiful Tuesday evening. But before I get into tonight's subject, who's joining me on this ambush stream? Shady Grin, good evening. Kiro Soldier, good evening. Mike R, good evening. You're Ridiculous Lunatic, good evening. The Best Remy, good evening. Who else is here? Tier Alexander, good evening. Kiefer Dam, good evening to you, and thank you, Kiefer Dam, for providing the link to the Leukemia Lymphoma Society at the top of the chat box. Everybody, if you take a look at that, donate, please, if you are able, but even if you're not, if you can, share that out on social media. That would be appreciated. So thank you for that ahead of time, and thank you, Kiefer Dam, for providing it. Plague Trucker, good evening. Simon Willikins, good evening. Dr. Functional, good evening. Theater Wench Ginger, good evening to you. Anybody else? Spoonie the Rebel, good evening. And, Robert Pincus, good evening to you. The Dead Man, good evening. Angelverse, good evening. Spittlebuggies, good evening. And I think that's everybody I see. If I missed you, if you're lurking, if you're in the future, good evening. So, tonight was the big night. Kamala Harris made her big, quote-unquote, closing argument speech 1 week ahead of the election at the Ellipse near the Capitol building, the site of January 6th, trying to make a big point. Oh boy, she had such a speech. And then right smack dab in the middle of it, old Grandpa Joe just couldn't keep his mouth shut. And he just decided to overshadow the entire thing. So much so that even one of our favorite friends, formerly at CNN, can't deny that it's a big problem. But exactly what happened and what did he say? Well, I don't know if the video of him saying it is copyrighted or not, so unfortunately I can't play that. I'd love to. You can find it out there pretty easily. But let's take a look at what CNN had to say about this evening. We'll look at a little bit of the reaction, as it were, and we'll see what it might or might not do as one more poison pill. Biden seeks to clean up garbage comment about Trump supporters denigrating Latinos. Except that it wasn't Trump supporters denigrating Latinos, it was a roast comic making a joke about Puerto Rico. There's a great little bit out there from Jon Stewart looking at this, and he makes the great point, gosh, if you hire a roast comic to make jokes at a political rally, that might not be the best idea, but he did exactly what he was hired to do. And, if you can believe it, it was a joke. But anyway, President Joe Biden on Tuesday tried to clean up comments he made earlier that sparked immediate backlash from many who interpreted them as referring to supporters of former President Donald Trump as garbage. Well, there wasn't much to interpret because that's exactly what he said. Speaking during a Voto Latino Get Out the Vote call, Biden, in reaction to Trump's offensive rally, it was so offensive, everybody. Somebody made a joke. Oh my God! Everything's ruined because someone made a joke. Trump's offensive rally at Madison Square Garden on Sunday said, quote, and just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people, unquote. Quote, the only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters, unquote, Biden said, pausing for a moment before continuing because even in his addled state, he realized what he just said. Quote, his demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it's un-American. It's totally contrary to everything we've done, everything we've been, unquote. Who is demonizing Latinos again? The guy made a joke about Puerto Rico. But anyway, Biden's comments drew swift backlash online, with Republicans immediately connecting them to Hillary Clinton's 2016 remark that half of Trump's supporters were deplorables. Biden's remarks came just as Vice President Kamala Harris was set to take the stage for a major rally in Washington, D.C. Quote, Earlier today, I referred to the hateful rhetoric about Puerto Rico spewed by Trump's supporter at his Madison Square Garden rally as garbage, which is the only word I can think to describe it, unquote. Biden posted on X later that evening. Quote, his demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. That's all I meant to say. The comments at that rally don't reflect who we are as a nation. Right. Except again, the comedian did not say anything about Latinos. He made a joke about Puerto Rico and the condition thereof in general terms. But even this was not enough to convince our friend at CNN, Chris Cillizza. Even Chris Cillizza was not impressed with this. Biden's verbal gaffe, if that's what it was, is an absolute nightmare for Harris's campaign. This is getting more attention than Harris's closing argument speech. And shortly thereafter, Chris Cillizza added, also, the attempt to transcribe this by the White House as supporters as opposed to supporters, which he clearly says, is laughable. Yeah, even Chris Cillizza can't buy this. Oh my gosh. When CNN asked for an explanation on the... What am I getting here? An ad or something? Go away. When CNN asked for an explanation on the president's comments, a White House spokesperson insisted that Biden had meant supporter '*s rather than supporters, arguing that he had actually said this, quote, the only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it's un-American, unquote. Quote, the president referred to the hateful rhetoric at Madison Square Garden rally as garbage, White House spokesman Andrew Bates said. No, he didn't. Trump was informed of Biden's remarks during his rally in Allentown, Pennsylvania, when Florida Senator Marco Rubio ran on stage saying, quote, you might not have heard this, just moments ago, Joe Biden stated that our supporters are garbage, unquote. Trump said, quote, wow, that's terrible. That's what it says. That's what it says. So you have, remember Hillary, she said deplorable, and then she said irredeemable, right? But she said deplorable. That didn't work out. Garbage, I think, is worse, right? Unquote. Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance also seized on Biden's comments. Quote, this is disgusting. Kamala Harris and her boss Joe Biden are attacking half of the country. There's no excuse for this. I hope Americans reject it, unquote, the Ohio senator posted on X. As CNN reported earlier Tuesday, Biden's role in the final weeks of the election has been moved even further out of the spotlight as recent campaign trail gaffes prompted a range of responses, from eye rolls to outright anger from some of Harris's campaign aides. From some Harris campaign aides. Okay. I gotta say that up until this point, keeping Joe off the trail was probably the best decision Kamala has yet made about her campaign. Because of things like this. But yeah, Joe says this just before she does. I would love to have been a fly on the wall when this news reached Kamala. Right? Because it happened just before, just a little while before she went on stage at the Ellipse. Oh, man. The president also criticized Trump's character when trying to make the case for Harris on the call. Quote, Donald Trump has no character. He doesn't give a damn about the Latino community. A joke about Puerto Rico. He's a failed businessman, and he only cares about the billionaire friends he has, unquote, Biden said, calling the former president a true danger. He's a true danger to not just Latinos, but to all people, particularly those who are in a minority, who are in a minority in this country, okay? You know, we have to vote to elect Kamala as president. Tim Walz is vice president. It's never been more important, Biden said. Well, at least he got the people's names correct. In the days since his New York City rally, Trump's campaign has tried to distance itself from the comedian Tony Hinchcliffe, who had made the remark about Puerto Rico. Hinchcliffe, like the other speakers, was an invited guest. Quote, this joke does not reflect the views of President Trump or the campaign, unquote, Trump campaign spokesperson Danielle Alvarez said in a statement Sunday. But the vulgar and racist rhetoric. Vulgar and racist. A floating pile of garbage. Vulgar? Racist? Okay. At the rally has prompted finger-pointing within the former president's inner circle and deep concern that his message was once again ellipsed by controversy. well, Joe just can't help himself, apparently. Oh, boy. Boy, oh, boy. Yeah, so you take something about Puerto Rico and say it applies to all Latinos now, and then you take a comment from a roast comic. It just, it's almost like Alexander or something. But yeah, so the fallout from this is just completely kiboshing whatever goodwill might have come out from Kamala's speech. I don't think it's going to change anybody's minds at this point, but it is funny. Let's see, was there any other takes on this that I wanted to take a look at here? Well, let's see, that was CNN's take on it. Let's see if Fox News has anything exciting going on their side of things. Oh yeah, they want me to allow ads. They need ads. Fox News needs the money, guys. They need the extra pennies. Before I move on to that, let's see what you guys have to say. Also, the Alexander... Jeez. You're really taking this to the nth degree, aren't you? The Alexander. All right. Hey, whatever works. I dubbed thee by accident. Now you have a whole new identity. Holy cats. This is what happens. This is what happens. Cool icon, by the way. Cool avatar. Roasted Opinions. Wow, Scribe. They really want to make hay on this? The politicians at the rally disavowed the remarks. I mean, before the rally even started, they were calling everybody and their brother there German National Socialists of the 1930s to keep YouTube happy or whatever. So, I mean, anything they can use. Anything. To try to completely demonize an entire... I mean, at this point, I don't think they've understood this. If they believe the polls, okay, if they believe the polls, almost exactly half of the electorate is on the opposite side from them. So if they say Donald Trump supporters are X, they're calling half of the electorate X. They don't seem to get it. Now, at this late date ahead of the election, is it going to make a whole lot of a difference? I don't know. I can't tell, honestly, and I'm still planning on doing a big, long stream on next Tuesday night. But I'm still not convinced that Kamala couldn't win this. Because it's just so close in so many places, and there's so much crazy stuff going on. You got ballot boxes being burned down. You got, they left RFK on the ballot in a bunch of places. There's so much chicanery happening. Who knows what's going to happen? So, anyway, but in the process, if you really want... Let's say, I know, a nightmare scenario. Let's say, for sake of argument, that Kamala Harris becomes president of the United States. She'll be going into office having presided and spending the next 2 months or whatever ahead of time underneath a president who just called half of the people she's going to be governing over garbage. Jeez, what an absolute mess. Absolute mess. I mean, October's surprise is Joe Biden. I think the October surprise might be Joe Biden. But let's see what Fox's take on this was. Let's see. Biden calls Trump supporters garbage during Harris campaign event as VP promises unity at Ellipse rally. Shades of Hillary's deplorables. I repeat, lots of 2016 vibes in this election, one ex-commenter said. Oh, I wish it had been me. I'm one ex-commenter. I've commented on a lot of things. President Biden went viral Tuesday night for comments disparaging Trump supporters as his number 2, Vice President Kamala Harris, made a major speech to voters calling for unity from the Ellipse right outside the White House. During a virtual Harris campaign call with Voto Latino, Biden took a swipe at former President Trump's rally in Madison Square Garden, which made headlines after insult comedian Tony Hinchcliffe made jokes mocking different ethnic groups, with one joke referring to Puerto Rico as a, quote, floating island of garbage, unquote. Quote, the only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters, Biden said. Trump's demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it is un-American. The comment quickly went viral and sparked swift condemnation from critics. "This is disgusting," Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance reacted. Quote, "Kamala Harris and her boss Joe Biden are attacking half the country. There's no excuse for this. I hope American reject it," unquote. Well, even J.D. Vance is prone to typos from time to time. "Biden just called half of America garbage," Elon Musk said. Quote, "Kamala Harris was deeply outraged by a comedian's joke. If she has any decency or integrity, she will condemn her partner Joe Biden's despicable statement calling half the country garbage," unquote. Senator Tom Cotton, Republican of Arkansas, said. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to take the extension of the comedian's joke as he was calling all Latinos garbage, well then, half of the entire American electorate is garbage now. Which includes Latinos. I don't know if you know this, Joe. Latinos support Trump. There are some Latinos out there. And black people. And women. And all types of people. So, Woof calls half the country garbage while Harris speaks, CNN contributor Scott Jennings says. Oh, a CNN contributor. Quote, "Well, there he is, so outraged by Tony the comedian that the sitting president borrows the garbage characterization to apply it to half of America. I imagine the cable news set will be all over this tomorrow, right?" Well, tomorrow, sure, but tonight for me. Because, well, I can do it live. Quote, "Just amazing that Biden managed to completely step on Kamala's speech in the worst way possible," Fox News contributor Joe Concha said. Joe Concha? Okay. I don't know most of these people. I don't follow the news as much as I used to, at least not reading articles every night. Quote, "Shades of Hillary's deplorables. I repeat, lots of 2016 vibes in this election," unquote. Jewish Insider editor-in-chief Josh Kraushar wrote. Kraushar? Quote, "If you're wondering why Biden wasn't at the rally that Kamala Harris just held in front of his home," Business Insider reporter Brian Metzger quipped. Yeah. Trump himself reacted to the terrible comment while speaking at a rally in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Quote, "Remember Hillary, she said deplorable." And same stuff that we talked about in the last article. Let's see. Trump said to his supporters, quote, "But he doesn't know. You have to please forgive him, for he not knoweth what he said. And I'm convinced he likes me more than he likes Kamala," Trump quipped. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Biden attempted to clarify his comments on social media. Yeah, we read that already. Let's see. We talked about that. Biden's comment comes in stark contrast to the message Harris gave to voters outside the White House in what many have called her final sales pitch to the American people ahead of the election. Yeah, her final sales pitch was decidedly locked on those teleprompters, and as soon as she was done, she was off the stage. Trump started talking at his event shortly after she started, and he went on for a long time, as he is wont to do. The Dead Man, thank you so much. Have a grateful Halloween, everyone. Actually, Halloween, speaking of Halloween, thank you, Dead Man, appreciate it. Just for the however much longer I'm going to be on here, I do have a Halloween background I could be playing right now. I guess it's not very exciting the way that the page is set up right now. But it's there. You can see the pumpkin. Anyway, I'll have the Halloween background going up there. But yeah, so that's the reaction on Twitter and elsewise. It's pretty bad. Pretty bad. And I thought that was funny. Even at this late date, even this soon to the campaign or the election, Joe Biden just can't keep his mouth shut, and he steps all over his, I guess his supposed or purported successor, both legally and potentially in the election. Yeah. So how do you spin this? How do you spin this? You can't. You just spent the last 48 hours saying that one joke by a roast comic about a country somehow applies to all Latinos, and then Biden just said that 48% of the electorate is now the same thing as all Latinos according to Trump, or Trump's guest, or all of Trump, or I don't know. It's not. This is, oh my God. I tell you what, though, if Kamala wins, I'm going to have no end of content for my channel for the next 4 years. Me and everybody else have plenty to talk about. And it's sort of the, watching a clown cry kind of situation. It's not going to be a happy situation, but it'll be sort of like, sitting on your lawn chair watching the world come to an end, kind of like, well, let's have a beer and just watch it all fall apart. Because, man, But let's see, what else do you guys have to say? Let's see. Johnny Blaze, I'm pissed the Dodgers lost. What are we talking about here? It's a loss of a kind. It's a political loss. That's what it is. Angela Ariaga, what I can see of it is lovely, Scribelight. I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. Yeah, this is one of my favorite times of year. The mystery, the intrigue, the sort of like undercurrent of spookiness of everything. Yeah, I think I like this the best. And it's also the time of year that has like almost the perfect temperature and scenery. All the trees starting to turn colors and the leaves are falling and you got that crisp smell in the air and you start getting that little, whiff of people doing fireplaces and smoking. I love that. Love it. Love it. Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, not a country. You're correct. Sorry. I keep saying country. It's not a country. It wants to be a state. But, that still hasn't happened. Maybe Kamala will be the one to make it into a state. Maybe she'll make it into a state finally. Divine Petulance. Scribe has bookworms. Excuse me? I have been thoroughly dewormed in the past. Thank you very much. SWD40. Hey, guys. Hey, SWD40. So there you go. That's basically the only story I wanted to talk about. Let's see, some programming notes. There is a thought in the wind, so to speak, for Thursday, Halloween, to have a special TED-ish event. I'm still trying to align time zones and things, but the idea is recently a TED Talk, I guess, was put out that deals with vampire myths and lore. Ooh! And the thumbnail for that talk was from the 1922 film Nosferatu. And when I saw that, I thought, oh my gosh, well, my friends over at Midnight's Edge, Andre and Tom, recently put together their own remastered version of Nosferatu for their Retrospectives and Classics channel, which they corrected all of the color tints and added sound effects and a brand new soundtrack and the whole 9 yards. It's really, really cool if you get a chance to watch it. But I thought, gee, that'd be a great video to watch with them. Thing is that Andre is, I keep wanting to say he's in Ibiza or something, but he's not in the United States, and so his time zone's a bit wonky. And so right now the idea is, and just take, don't take my word for it in the sense that just tentatively, is that I'll do an early show on Thursday. And by early, I mean like maybe 11 a.m. Pacific time early. That's just for looking at the vampire lore video and having Tom and Andre on as co-pilots to go over it. We can talk about Nosferatu and vampire stuff. I can, show off my Vampire the Masquerade nerdery and all that kind of thing. And then I'd still do a TED Excellence later that night, per usual. That's the tentative idea in my mind right now, but it all really depends on getting the time zones lined up and making sure that everybody can attend, because if not, I might just make the TEDx that night the vampire lore video and have Tom Connors on as a co-pilot. We're still trying to figure that out, still working it out. We'll see. So either I'm going to be doing 1 or 2 shows Thursday. I will let you guys know as things develop. But beyond that, and then of course Tuesday next week, my intention is to start a stream roundabouts 4 p.m. Pacific time, which is about an hour before the polls close on the East Coast that day, and just start to just watch the results as they come in. It'll be mostly just kind of a hangout stream, nothing serious, kind of looking at the news and the polls and the numbers, maybe have a few guests on if people want to come on, that kind of thing. But that's the plan. That's my tentative scheduling plan for the next several days. Also, do you know that I have a Discord server? Well, if you didn't know, I have a Discord server. There's a link to the Discord server in the chat right now. All you have to do is click on that link. You'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you just have to give the secret word. The secret word will tell me you're not a bot. You've actually watched the stream and have thus earned the right, the privilege, the entitlement to join the Discord server. And today's secret word is garbage. just say hello, garbage. I won't take it personally. And I'll know that you watched the show. So get that link there if you have the opportunity. Outside of that, I think that's all I had to say right now. I do have to go off to the wonderful world of sleep because I still have to work in the morning. It's still month end and there's still a lot of paperwork to do. So I'm going to call it here. Best Rennie, who's the comedian they keep talking about? Tony Hinchcliffe. He's a roast comedian. He did the Tom Brady roast recently. I see clips of that from him. Seems kind of funny. The stuff that I saw is I mean, I've seen better roast comedians, at least the clips that I've seen before. So I guess he's okay. Some people find him really funny. I'm like, it's okay. Not exactly. The stuff that I saw didn't really wow me or anything. I've seen better, but anyway. Oh, The Dead Man. Thank you again. Midnight Edge's remastered Nosferatu is amazing, and that was the first time I've ever seen that movie. Yeah, no, they do a little supplementary documentary about not only the film but also some of the things that they did to remaster it. They get the transitions in the color tinting corrected. They had a whole bunch of new sound effects, a completely original soundtrack. The whole thing was just quite the undertaking. I got to see some early versions of the film in progress from Tom Connors as he was working on it. And it's compared to the official releases on Blu-ray and elsewise that they've put out over the years, Midnight's Edge's version might be the most accurate, especially when the translations of the title cards and the filler cards. They took the original German that the film appeared in and translated it more correctly than the versions that end up on DVD and Blu-ray. So anyway, look up Midnight's Edge Retrospectives and Classics. That's their new channel. The whole movie's on there for free, all done up. You can watch it in pieces or watch it all at once, have it in the background for Halloween. And they have a little documentary on there about the making of the film itself, and then, of course, their remastering of it. But that's enough advertising for me. I got to go to bed, guys. So, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Let me know what you thought about this story or anything else down in the comments below. Follow me on Twitter, X, scribe_light. You can see me right there, scribe_light. Leave a like on the way out if you would. Anything else I have to plug? Yeah, that's about it. So keep an eye on things. And hope everybody has a good rest of your Tuesday night, however much left there is of it. Hope you have a good Wednesday ahead of you and the rest of the week. Hope you're all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.